欢迎大家添加深交的微信15011423855，15011423855加入越野 Talk 的微信群我们在那儿进行实时的交流和互动。这是越野 Talk 在霞慕尼在 UTMB 的现场做的一个交流的活动，包括来自美国的越野媒体，来自欧洲的，来自我们中国的。首先可以先请大家去简单介绍一下自己是来自哪个国家，是哪一个越野跑媒体是谁。
Yeah, outdoor industry, like I used to be a retailer, dealer of specialty store, and I also race organizer of 2 races in our small town. They used to be really badass races, but now it's entry level now, just about 30k, like 1,050 meters, something like that. Now I have my own social media, broadcasting things, for short video.
My name is Chris Foster. I'm the editorial director at Outside Endurance, which is in charge of Outside Run and also Trail Runner. Me, myself, I've been a trail runner for a decade, but mostly shorter races, though I do a few long projects when I can.
Yeah, it's Aran here. I come from Barcelona, Spain, and I represent Trail Running Review as a media focusing on trail running gear. And we have 3 more channels about road running, trekking, and then gravel bikes. We're here to follow the race, and we go all over the world to see the new stuff about trail running gear and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm Bryon Powell with iRunFar. I've been reporting on the sport for 15 years, ultra running for 20, and running trails for 30 some years. So have been fortunate enough to follow the growth of trail running and ultra running around the world. From home in the United States to Chamonix to 5 trips to China so far, and another one coming up next month. So,
cool. I'm Tianhao Shen, and I'm a sports journalist. I collaborate with trail running handler in China for European competitions. And I do not have a super long story with trail running, but I also cover other sports, so like football. So I hope to provide also some different perspectives for this interesting discussion.
我们非常开心，就是能够在这个地方跟这些来自全球的越野跑媒体一起来聊一下越野跑这项运动在不同的国家和地区目前到底大概是什么样子。迅速的进入到这个正题。第一部分先跟大家聊一聊，就是跟赛事有关，跟参赛的人群有关。就在你们的国家，每年大概的越野跑的这个比赛的数量是多少？然后每年参加这个比赛的人群大概是一个什么样的一个数量级
Any statistics off the top of my head. I mean, but it's many hundreds. It's probably many hundreds of races or events, and thousands of races with different distances. And many tens of thousands of participants in trail running and ultra running. In the US, it tends to be, I think there are more ultra running events maybe than shorter trail running events, but maybe the participants are slightly equal because some of the shorter events tend to have larger capacities. But it's a very large and vibrant community, but it's unlike maybe some in Europe and definitely in China. I think the growth has slowed. It's still growing, but not as exponentially as it was in the late 20s and 2010s. It's growing slowly. It's healthy. Yeah. It's not
sustainable.
It's sustainable, but it's not there was a huge set of growth from 2007 to 2020, and I don't think it wasn't COVID that set it back. It just kind of got to a good point, and now it continues to slowly grow.
I don't have any further input on that in the U.S. I think I've seen the same thing. We have probably some issues with capacity, and you can only hold so many races on so much land, and I think that the challenges of putting on a race are probably pretty high in the U.S., I would imagine, so that probably has, you kind of hit this threshold for growth at that point. But at least from an interest side, we're seeing substantially more traffic on our website and on those things around trail running, whether it's the pro interest, of course, which is increasing a lot as we see outside, but also just trail running in general. And so I think, to me, I wonder if there's maybe not so much of a growth in the racing, but in the people that are trail running but don't ever sign up for a race and maybe never will.
How about Spain?
Yeah, what I see in Spain is I think like the biggest races are probably still growing, but I see a lot of the small races, like more like village organization, like something like that, disappearing after the COVID. Because I guess it's not, the main goal is not to make money or make this big event. But I still see like big races like Salomon Ultra Pirineo or races like this in Spain still growing. And I know it's not a road running podcast, but what we are experiencing in Spain is that the road running races are growing like crazy. Pretty crazy. Like the marathon of Barcelona is like double the people from 2019. And in Spain, I think like the longest races are still like the biggest races that are long, like 100 miles or whatever. They are still doing well, but most of the longest races that we used to have, they are like making less kilometers each year. So I think between 40 and 50, 60 is the race that most people run right now in Spain. We still have like 100 miles and stuff, but my perception is that not many people are still going like crazy to the longest race that used to be like the biggest race, right?
I'll have two observations in contrast from the United States. One is, I saw your face when he said road running is growing, and it is dying. Like there are races.
Dying?
No, I mean like the New York Marathon, Chicago, all the big ones fill, but local marathons are shrinking. They're dying. Races are going away. Like the actual numbers of participants are significantly decreasing. Like I don't know the whole story with the rock and roll like marathons, but like you don't even hear about them anymore. They don't even exist anymore. But
yeah, they don't promote them as much, that's for sure.
And there is a growth. Like we haven't had as much of the festival style racing in the U.S., but we started having shorter races at these events. But I think the growth is actually on the longer end. Like 100 miles are filling really quickly. Like there's such interest in 200 and 250 mile races. Like there's almost an arms race to go longer, and not necessarily harder, but just I kind of feel that. Like I've done, like if you ask me to go run 100 miles tomorrow, I'd be like, okay, let me go find a pack in the shop, and like, okay, like that's not like arrogant, but like if you've been doing this for a really long time, what's the next thing? Yeah. And like I think maybe it's part of that growth curve where in the U.S. like there've been people running 100 milers for 20 or 30 years now, so like, all right, let's try something new. And I've seen that with a lot of friends.
Yeah, and it's crazy that the growth of the 200 plus, the ultra long, you're just like, you would never think that distance would find any sort of growth aside from just very small. But yeah, it's very much like a grabbing, I think it's like a kind of an American attitude, like what's next on my bucket list? What's
not necessarily like your second year in ultra, but if you've been doing it a while, like it's like, oh yeah, I need a challenge. Like, yeah. Sorry for
hijack. Yeah.
From Italy.
Yeah, I forgot to mention I'm based in Milan, Italy, so I observe the scene of Italy. I think one uniqueness of Italian trail running scene is that there exists sky running in the Alpine region. So there are also a tradition of super long distance hiking. For example, they do. Italy has a lot of cultural heritage. So some people do via Pia or via Francigena from Carlisle over to Italy. So also some across Bologna and Florence, crossing the Apennine mountains. So, and I think trail running is kind of like between them. And sometimes in Italy, this kind of differences are very subtle. I do agree. One point that Chris mentioned, that maybe there are also a lot of runners in Italy that will never register themselves for an official race, but they are, let's say, regular practicers for trail running. So yeah, I think this kind of mixed cocktail is maybe something unique in Italy, because it's difficult to think another country that has such a lot of sky running races with such a level and density. And they are also quite mature. Yeah, that's it.
我这儿有一个问题，也不知道能不能问一下同事。当然，因为我们前一阵是采访了2个跑这个穿越比利牛斯900的选手。对。
I just have one question to ask you. Even though the race itself was in France, it's the Trans-Pyrénées 900, so quite a crazy one. It's quite close to Spain. So we interviewed 2 Chinese athletes that participated in this race days before.
How was the local reaction in the Pyrenees mountain region for this kind of super long, unique race? Because it's difficult to, and maybe it's the longest existing, let's say, at a certain level, trail running competition in the world. So I would like to know the local reaction from your side.
Yeah, like Pyrenees is for us is like something really special. Like this is probably the biggest mountain that we have in Spain. And the cool thing, it goes from the Basque country to Catalonia, the north of Catalonia.
Yeah.
And it's something that, many people have done it walking in maybe 30 days or even more. Some people like us that are looking more for, the kind of fastest way that you can go from one side to the other side. Even Kilian did it, I think, with a record like many years ago.
Yeah.
And I don't know, for us it's like a cool place to show to the people from outside our country, because it's the Basque country and Catalonia are like pretty much brothers, I would say, because the culture is pretty similar. The mindset it's pretty similar. It's not the same with other parts of Spain.
Sure.
But I don't know, I think it's a cool thing to share with other people from outside, I don't know, China, Japan or wherever, because I think you have the chance to know a lot of things about our country, Spain, and Basque country in Catalonia, the food, the different kind of weather that you can find from
Spain food.
The food,
especially compared with London.
Usually you get nice weather, usually. So it's cool. Like we have the Camino de Santiago as well. It's a big thing in Spain, many people doing it. And it's cool to see, like, from the beginning, it's pretty much mountain kind of landscape, but in the middle is like the desert. So it changes a lot from one side to the other. And I like to see people coming to do these kind of things, adventures. And I think it's, to me, the best way to know a country like Spain, because, the weather, the food, whatever. And the people, obviously. I think it's a good way to show it to the people from outside Spain.
I see. I notice also a strong tendency to promote the Basque country, both from the French side and from the Spanish side, eventually for other trail running competitions, of course. And we talked also before the program started with Mr. Lo. Also in China, I believe that there are a lot of this kind of incentives to promote local culture strongly through trail running competitions.
Yeah, especially for tourism, like propaganda things, it's quite a really good niche market, promoting things for, in China now, the situation. Maybe you can share some data from China market racing.
我觉得就是他们分享的，他们在各自国家越野跑的，无论是参赛数量还是一些比赛的数量的发展节奏，其实跟中国还是频率是基本相同的。也是分疫情之前那个10年，他们也是在一个高速增长的阶段，在中国同样也是一个高速增长的阶段，大概能达到上千场的比赛，在疫情之前最顶峰的时候。但是经过疫情之后，又到新的22年、23年之后，又重新开始爆发式的增长。然后其实到现在为止的中国的比赛的数量，应该还是没有超过疫情之前最高峰的那个数值。
但是参赛人数跟质量
是
跟规模都完全
不一样，甚至是要翻的。对，要相较于过去的那个10年的最高点，是甚至是翻1番、翻2番的这么一个数量级。我们如果从有一传积分的这个角度去看的话，大概有20万左右的人参加过越野跑比赛，每年应该达到100万人次参加这个越野跑比赛。
So I think the data is not so accuracy, but as my opinion is like just my own opinion, like from maybe four. The first one is, I think, our generation, I'm already like 50, but as our generation, there's two characters just deeper in gene. Like one is, it's more like we try to massive production, make some good things cheaper and let everybody can try and share it. So the good part is something might be has really big market. So after the massive production, it works. But also sometimes they will hurt the whole industry. The second is also another character. It's more like we don't have any boundary. Like maybe yesterday I'm selling like whatever beer or something, and the day after that, I just found the traffic on the search engine about the waterproof jacket. It's sewing, so I can call several factory. I can produce my own. So, cause in the places where I come from, there's all the those supply chains. You can change fabrics, and like just in 1 week, you can change several different versions. So that's two characters. Our generation. For the race, it's similar like that. So it's more like people try to make the race or even trail running like more lower entries for everybody. Try to show the normal people, everybody, if you have legs, you can go for trail running races. So even the governor and even whatever, the vlogger, the product industry, pushing that. So it's growing so fast. But I'm still wondering because, I'm organized trail running race almost 24 years. So I think, maybe next year gonna be a growth curve. But for this category, trail running, I think it's gonna still growing fast and more healthy. Race might be go down. Why? Is, like in the past 10 to 20 years, trail running category is the only category like making the stable and growth in outdoor industry. Before I'm thinking maybe it's up and down sometimes. Why it's always growing? So I get it out. Before we were talking about alpinist, right? When Kilian tried to climb 8,000 high meter mountains in 1 week, use the trail running training methods and more light equipments, and pass the dangerous high altitude in short period of time and getting down. So make things changing. Like before we talking about ultra light tracking, but when you compare with trail running gears, it's totally different. So I think like maybe 1 year later in China, most of the people go hiking with the trail running race vest, because we can make it more cheaper after massive. So I think that's more light. The training methods, even just bring 2 bottles outside of it change a lot. Even make hydration pack 2 vest, it change a lot. So it's not just like just one category of outdoor, but it's kind of the changing engine like in the whole outdoor industry. I think it's gonna change in ski touring, change. So that's why I think trail running as a sports, it's more sustainable than I can. But for the races in China, I'm not so. I think maybe. So that's why I'm wondering. Like I think sometimes we got thinking of. I still remember there's 5 times champion of UTMB. The older guy. Maybe 10 years ago. Give him an interview. It's called Olomo, right? The older guy.
Marco Olmo.
Just why you participate 100 mile, year after year, revenge the life. We all know that. If you try to finish that, you have to spend so much time in your life for training and sustainable. It's not fit for everybody. And also, you need nature to climbing. In Shanghai, the highest hill is just it's like 99 meters high. You know what I mean? It means you're gonna have something. You're gonna, it's not revenge, but you need to have really hard life. You try to escape for a while, right? Like pushing you, and also you need a nature area environments, and you can enjoy, and you can then back to solve your problem, right? So I think it's not fit for most people. So that's why I think in China it's growing too fast.
I think about it, it's interesting you say that. Like I'm thinking of both the growth trajectory of trail running in China. There's two things I think about, and one is most of the growth in trail running has happened in the running vest era. Like a lot of ultra running and trail running and ultra running happened in the U.S. before that. Like we were running with the old horrible hydration packs in comparison with what we have today. And it's just interesting that you all start with the nice light wind jackets and and great shoes. And I wish that was around when I started trail running. But second, I was thinking of you're talking about like people training in Shanghai or Beijing, and one of the first really big trail races in China was the Ultra Gobi stage race. The business students. That was not a revenge on life, but that's very competitive people kind of attacking trail. Like not like but like it was it's a fierce competition, and like they're driven. But these are all people who are at the time living in big cities in China, and it's it's interesting because it doesn't.
And I think in my mind, I think this race is the most or 怎么说呢？最具商业价值的
most more like more commercial.
Most commercial races in China, especially like in the first 5 to 10 years. Most the participants are EMBA. So some of them, it's the first stage of EMBA education in China. So I think average those participants, they own a factory or a company over like 1,000 or 3,000 employees. So when the boss fall in love with running, so what's going on, like in the whole factory culture, they gotta promote, like in the employees, we should go run, something like that. And on the other way, I used to be temporary share conference with Zhongou, like EMB, always the top 3 team in that race. They already have professional coach from the professional University of Sports Nutrition things. But after the sharing conference, like we talking about the injury things, average age about 40 to 45. So they just told me, besides the plan of the coach arrange it for them, they add something more. Because their success tell them you can do something more and make better results. But maybe they are not familiar with your mechanism but after that stage, they are just really fast. In that school, EMBA, if you want to go to A team, like 40 to 45 average age, you want attend A team, you suppose finish full marathon about 2 hours and 50 minutes. You have chance.
That's crazy.
So sometimes successful people, they have their reason.
I actually will get to come see that stage race this year. I'm going to be impressed. But that's it's interesting because that was the first. I mean, there were other races in China at the time. Like there was some of the North Face Beijing was pretty early. The North Face 100 Beijing.
210, I think.
But
2010.
But there was a couple races early. But that was one of the first. But that's where it's a different origin than I think some of the trail races in the U.S. or in Spain or in Italy for sure. But that's what the things grew out of. They even feed commercial event.
The small
not in a bad way, but it's a big commercial event. It's highly competitive.
Yes.
And so then you have, I think, a lot of the trail races. At least I've been Yading, Siguanyang, Ultra Gobi 400. It's a big production. It's about a lot of it is about the show and the trails are wonderful too, and the performances. But it's a different origin. Like in the U.S., it started as all very small community races. I mean, the most famous or the most important races in the U.S. calendar are 369 people or 146 people, and that's the limit. And it changes not even the culture of that race is, but that's the model of culture for other events and of the community, even if they're not racing. So,
所以罗老师，你的意思是， 中国的越野跑能这么发展快，其实是一种共谋，对不对？并不是有文化基础所在。
那倒也不是吧，我觉得就是说是因为我们的基因里有一点就是大规模量产和没有边界这个东西在，所以呢，就我们任何推广一样东西会非常快，但是呢，它往往有它的两面性，一方面让这个门槛会降低下来，所以就会你现在看到，只要你有条腿就可以越野跑，就可以参加越野赛。但事实情况，你听他们讲，无论西班牙那个，大家都是一个缓慢的那个，但在中国可能就是一个爆发式的，对吧？所以我想，它最终还会过去这个东西，是吧？然后另外，for I think for most like Asian, like we need like more like appearance. Like looks good, so that's more emphasis. Like whatever Japan, Korean, or in China. I think maybe I don't know, maybe 95 or percentage of our customers or runners are in big cities. They gonna face people. It's not like in Queenstown you go outside of the street. Yeah, maybe the whole day you won't see any people. So that's why it's more about if you wear something, it's more about you present something. So that's why I think Vask, yeah, they're going down because I tell them, yeah, we love this color, we love that color. But you don't want to be colorful or charming in Yosemite or But in China it's quite different, even in Asian market. So that's quite different when the media came in to promoting on that, show something in image. Yeah, many people would think it's more
about
yes,
the
a little
vanity.
bit, yeah.
And I think that would be a big deterrent to a lot of the trail running culture in the U.S. That kind of exposure and loudness.
Yeah.
I think a lot of our trail runners shy away from that. So I actively don't want to be a part of that. I want to be in the woods. I want to,
that part has grown a lot.
Yeah.
It's like a leave me alone.
Oh, you mean the loud part?
Well, the loud, the show,
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But I mean, like in contrast with that was like kind of forbidden,
yes,
culturally.
Yeah. That would be a big problem. But yeah, no, it's true. And you see this with I think the clubs are growing, at least in Southern California where I am mostly. We see a prevalence of clubs, of running clubs, especially in cities, and now with trail running clubs.
Running clubs.
Yeah, they're supporting with aid stations, and they're making a big event of it. They're bringing their families to events and things like that. And that to me has seemed a little bit newer and different than something 10 years ago, and all kinds of different people. You're having Latino trail running clubs, just different kind of cultural groups that come together and be a part of that. I don't know. To me, that'd
be really interesting. I could see that totally happening in like a Beijing or in some of the big cities. Like I've been in Chengdu, and like we've taken the metro out to run in the where we've gone to like the mountains outside of the city, and you could have like a trail running club that is in the northwest of the city and hits those mountains, and if your city's 20 million or 25 million, you could have 5 or 10 local trail clubs.
Oh yeah,
and like have fun rivalries.
And it would support the races, because the races know, I don't just have 7, 15, whatever entries. You have a block of 50, and you gave them a little discount, but now you have your 50 or you have your 70, and they're gonna.
And you have a team competition in addition to the individual.
And they support the race.
And then like team jerseys, because like some of the trail running clubs when I started trail running, I was one in the Washington D.C. area, and we had these blue shirts with our logo on it, and like we'd go out to West Virginia, and they'd have their green shirts or whatever. And like it was totally friendly, and like it was fun that you had a little competition. So
欧洲也是这样。
I was gonna say like it's happening in Spain as well, like
Especially in Spain, I think.
yeah, like the big cities in Spain about all these running clubs, it's just getting crazy. Like in Barcelona we are 1 million people and maybe 500 clubs. It's crazy.
What is it that
Too many clubs.
Peak club.
So to me, like from my point of view, I like to run alone pretty much most of the time because it's something that it's my time, my space. And usually when I go like to the seashore, it's like all these clubs and it's crazy loud running with music, maybe 100 people. It's crazy, but at the same time, I think it's good. It's nice to see.
Yeah, it's true. It's kind, silent sports always use the opposite way to promote it.
Yeah. And to me, more after the COVID, I think it's the necessity, the instinct of get together, meet new people. And Barcelona, it's the people that the city that I live. I think it's a lot of people from around the world. So you see there meeting different people, Italian and United States people, whatever from around the world, and it's their time to meet new people, and it's kind of cool, but it's getting crazy. But I think there is a lot of big opportunities for the brand to link with these communities, because in the end you see these communities training together each week to do some races, for example, and as Chris said, like you're getting no 1 or 2 people, you're getting 100 people to go to marathon of Barcelona, whatever. And you see them all getting together, the pictures, the social media, so they are promoting the race. And the brand, if you are lucky enough to link with these kind of communities. And that's something as a media we're trying to do for 2026, to build our own community, because we are digital, 100%. And we think how the AI. I'm still worrying. I'm going to interview. Avatar. No, so I think it's really important, and the way that I see the world right now with the AI, for example, the avatars and everything, it's you gotta keep doing your thing really good with digital, trying to learn a lot about the AI things and stuff like that. But in the same time, you gotta go to the opposite, to touch people, to get the community, to know their names, and I think this is probably one of our challenge.
I mean, that's one of the interesting things on like clubs, because I think they can be based on so many different things. Like you're in Southern California, I think there's like organic, just like organizations that are running clubs. In smaller towns around, like in Colorado, it's often the running specialty store, like in a Salado or a Gunnison or wherever, and like they have 1 or 2, 3 nights a week a run, and that's essentially a running club. It could be around an online community or another sort of community, or it could even be a group of friends. Like, do you know the Koalas? No. There's this group, like Igualada, that area. Oh. And like, there's a guy, Raul, and he had friends, and they called him Koala, and they had koala shirts. Yeah. But you just, there's so many, and it could be EMBA programs in Beijing that could spring up and not be the only reason for a club, but be the nucleus, be the start.
And I think too, like with the clubs, we were talking about different distances and things like that. I think that's where having a variety of distances at trail races can be crucial. Because if you do want a bigger group and you do want a variety of people to come, maybe 80% of them are doing the 30K or whatever, but they're all going to rally around the guy or the woman doing the 100K, and they're all going to support them really hard. But if it was just the 100K, are they going to come and maybe, it's a lot of self-interest, of course, but I think that makes a strong argument for the variety of distances, because if you do start thinking about these groups and these, clubs or whatever, obviously that you want to bundle them all in right into that one day or weekend, or 4 days or whatever,
or a week,
or 2 weeks, or whatever the heck we're doing. Where are we? But yeah, I think you get that bundling that happens better around multiple distances.
就有点像这个东西是比较有机的生态，有 club， 有那个 big scale races。
就是从俱乐部，像最草根的这种社团群体当中，他们除了做一些活动之外，他们其实也慢慢的开始做自己的服装品牌，就慢慢会衍生出来一种这样的方式。他们是否能观察到现在你们各自的这些社群也都在做类似的事情
？Their own shirts, little bit like Saul in London, Satisfy Running in Paris.
They also want to take the marketing sharing for the sportswear.
We wouldn't have local brands. We'd probably do like screen printing on a shirt, you'd probably get your own logo, but it would still be an ASICS shirt,
or just a generic texture. Just whatever you source.
We wouldn't. I don't think there's a lot of localism around brands.
No,
if that's what you're asking.
It's not like co-branding. It's just like
those are all
if they buy a bunch of shirts, you just buy a bunch of tech shirts, or there's ASICS or generic.
Or in those major city like marathon things, like Paris, and always with fashion, DJ, music, things like mixed together. So young generation love that. But there's really there are so many new brands came out.
But there are a couple clubs. I'm sure like New York Road Running Club as an official Nike or Reebok or ASICS or whoever it is, and maybe a couple clubs around the country. But all the small ones, it's just
they buy the shirts.
Whatever you find, like a cheap shirt that is good, whatever.
And you probably get like your local, like nutrition store to cover the cost of the t-shirts or something like that. I don't think the brand would be interested. I think that it would have to be
a small disc. I mean, if you're lucky.
Yeah, they wouldn't be interested enough in a club on that scale. I think in the U.S. it would have to be monstrous to really.
他讲的可能在美国的俱乐部的规模不足以这样。
But anything as an opportunity. I mean, like if you were the right brand and reached out, I mean, you could be a smaller brand and just had a really good. I think that happens maybe in like Nordic ski. There's a couple areas I could just see where you have like really healthy, like certain brands going for like to be the partner of the club, like the team, like whether that's like a club in like university or high school sports or adults, where they have robust programs for screen printing, and like have a small discount, like. But there's opportunity for brands to do that even more.
Yeah, I think that they just want such scale. They want like just unlimited money, not
and I think
not 20 shirts here.
I think it depends on the scale of the club members and also the voices influence on internet. So these are kind of combination. I just heard the story. I'm not sure is it true, but normally I gonna spend summertime in London, so I have some friends there, and SOAR, SOAR, the running shirt. It's about just 3 or 4 million UK revenue. But some investors are trying to get in maybe 10 times or more than 10 times value their 10 times their revenue. It's not profit, it's revenue. So I think it's like about the philosophy, the culture, or maybe the influence of something, some big brand or like big company. I think that would be a change. So that's why those brands are all born from Paris and London.
你觉得索尔是一个比较典型的从社区
there's Rafa, so there's all might be going down, but also acquired by some big companies.
But SOAR was an interesting example because I know, for example, that they do screen printing and like pretty sure part of their model is to be nimble and be able to. They can sell some online, maybe a couple specialty stores, but I have no idea what the revenue breakdown is, but they do a significant amount of custom apparel.
But now, they're vast, it's really popular, and also, I don't know, sometimes they have their co-branding, with each brand.
That's such a thing right now.
I don't know, they sometimes just try to show their more like independent store, small scale things, like some rich people gonna buy that.
So maybe right now, and these are owned by even bigger companies, but Hoka and Ultra, they have a bunch of co-branded shoes with high-end apparel companies and high-end cycling apparel companies, or some Japanese specialty mountaineering company. You're just like, you're trying to be cool,
trying to reinvigorate the brand without actually doing a rebranding. It's just kind of like a marketing shortcut almost.
But you're gonna sell sometimes to their super fans of another company.
所以说有一些可能对于亚洲的市场是有作用。
对于像这种就可能更大，但是这一波
So that's the quite difference. Like in Asian market, many people buy for that. Satisfy running program with all car.
I know some of the things were like, what?
Same time,
light,
same type, but different color. It's limited edition.
Oh, it's slightly lighter. Slightly lighter.
I want you to cover this too. It's so exciting.
Oh yeah, we read this press release.
Yeah, right. Okay. It didn't make it on the site. That's weird.
This is a little inside baseball, as it were.
最近可能是先从欧洲出来的，对吧？就欧洲人更愿意做这些联名啊，或者是用这种方式去做。
我觉得欧洲因为它的土壤是更容易就是 independent 的这种 brand， 然后呢，亚洲呢其实现在新的有钱的一代是愿意买单，因为他愿意听这个后面的故事。
美国它更多是它的 club 就是纯粹的，
对，美国就有点 redneck trail running race。
So how is the
Yeah, I would say it's pretty much the same as the United States. I mean, I think the communities they like to go with the same clothes and the same design and stuff, but they used to get a brand to do their printing, their design, blah, blah, blah. It depends if it's a big running club, usually the brand is who gets closer to the community to sponsor them a little bit. Like Night Runners, I think it's a big club in Europe. I think right now they are with Mizuno or Reebok, but like a small club A, they get in touch with a smaller brand, blah blah blah, and then they get the design. And in Spain, in Catalonia, we have a lot of factories or brands doing this. I see that a lot in cycling as well. Like in Catalonia, you can go with your bike and everybody's with their club, their colors, their design. And there is a big brand doing this. It's Govic. It's a big brand in Spain. I usually see this. Yeah, with the partnership with the brands like Oka or Salomon with Pas Normal, blah, blah, blah. Honestly, what I get from our audience, the question that I get usually is the performance of the shoe, not the design of the shoe. So they contact us, at least in Spain. I think the people want the shoe for the performance of the shoe.
But I think that's the growth of trail running apparel in, let's say, China. How much of that is for trail runners? I mean, but out of every 10 pairs of trail shoes sold in the U.S., 9 probably go to people just wearing them around on the weekends, or maybe go for some hikes. I mean, but that they're not.
It's everywhere.
I mean, and now it's even more so with Gore, like street fashion being Arc'teryx and Salomon and that. So.
And I think honestly, it's one of the biggest fight for the brand right now to get to the fashion kind of
to some of the detriment. I think they risk a lot of when that bubble pops, they've taken money away from the sports marketing and all of this, and if it switches to some cottage fashion or something, lumberjack fashion, whatever,
Amish fashion,
some other thing. Then they've shifted all of this into design but also lost their sports marketing. They have fewer athletes, less marketing campaigns behind that. I mean, it's sponsoring less races maybe, and that's happened a lot across the U.S. and I think across Europe too. And
and it diluted their brand almost.
Totally. I'm not going to name names. There's a bunch of. But they're all talking about which pop star or movie star I literally get press releases about this, or the collab with X person's colorway, and you're just like, oh boy.
Yeah, that's such a short-sighted, approach on their side, I think. And
make money while you can, but you could lose a lot in the end.
Yeah, well, they're just trying to hit yearly KPIs for the marketing people.
Quarterly statements come out. That's right.
Just nail the quarter. If we talk about the brand and also the future of the customer too, do you think now the market is overheating? Especially today why we have this conversation, because Anta Guanjun, they already also attend to the trail running market. So they also want to be, because Anta it could be the top 3 in the big sportswear, sports giant brand. So do you think it sounds like we have more customer because of the trail running community, the club, the runners is growing more than the races. But do you think the market is overheating?
I mean, if the market's overheating, it's overheating because the fashion side. I think there's a healthy number of brands, and what's really interesting from the U.S. perspective is I don't know what has changed with a lowering of the barrier of entry, or there's a lot of capital or what, but there's so many new apparel brands, and shockingly, a whole lot of new shoe companies or apparel brands doing shoes. I'm like, what? I don't know what has changed in the manufacturing process that's like has the cost of the molds for midsoles and outsoles gone down so much that Tracksmith can release a couple shoes and Rabbit can release a couple shoes and there's just and Satisfy and then there's other little even just mail order shoe companies out there. I'm like, so what has changed? And it's just, I mean, it kind of feels like a little bit like a Wild West repeat of 2010 when you had Hoka and Ultra and there was a whole bunch of new companies then, but it's even, I feel like there's way more and lower barrier to entry. Like they can just come out and a Normal just pops up. I mean, Normal's with the camper, but it's crazy right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's good though. I mean, to be optimistic, I think the variety of choices for types of shoes and types of apparel, I think that will have a side effect. That they obviously want to sell more shoes, but I do think it'll bring more people in because it is more comfortable for me. Whereas the first version of Adidas's first trail shoe was not very comfortable, and you couldn't wear it to school or to cross country practice, or a high schooler couldn't wear it. Whereas now, I think that'll help grow the sport to some extent. I think is when you talk about overheating is when people have this unlimited view of profit and growth,
which was also 2010.
Right. Right. We're like, if we got 1 million people, we can get 50 million people. Well, no, you need to be realistic about running as a sport as a whole and how many people can actually do it and things like that. It's when people get over optimistic about the money they can make that causes, I think, the overheating that we're kind of describing. And to be honest, I don't think that's a bad thing because at some point you have to weed out the brands that aren't really in it.
The cool thing is a lot of across the board, whether it's from big brands or small brands or new startups, the quality's all good. It's kind of like craft beer. I remember going to New Zealand 10 years ago, and they were just kind of starting craft beer, and a lot of it was just this is no better than the canned stuff in this. And now 10 years later, it's all great. And kind of trail running shoes, when I was first really reporting on them, 2007, 8, 9, there were some real bad entries into trail running. And now I have a list of probably more than 250 trail shoes on the market right now. And they might not all be for me, but 220 plus of them are legitimate. Somebody's going to really enjoy these. They're going to last for a reasonable amount of time, unless they're racing shoes. But they last for what they're made to, and they're great. It's amazing.
It's almost more rare to find one that's terrible. And I'm almost I kind of sometimes secretly hope they're going to be a little terrible, so I can finally this brand overextended. Yes, I can.
Yeah, they don't be thinking.
Actually,
I don't like this, but it's not because it's a bad shoe. I'm find somebody else on my team to test it. I don't do zero drop or huge stack heights. That's not me, but somebody on my team is going to love that one or that one.
Right. Which is good.
Yeah.
Right, because I think, again...
So sometimes you can say it's bad shoes. You might say it's different philosophy design.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we do that all the time. It's rare that lately, in the last... 3 to 5 years that we've found an inherently bad shoe that is not good for anyone.
There's a couple.
There's a couple, but but then again, it's the same thing. Now you don't have bad shoes out there, or you have so many that are so good for so many people. Now they're enjoying it more. And
there's variety for so 15 years ago, Ultra is just coming out, and there's one shoe with a wide toe box, and now you have Topo, and there's other brands on the market that have Innovate now offers almost every model has, and it's not quite as wide as an Ultra, but a narrow fit and a forgiving fit, and you just have whatever your tons of lower zero drop shoes and tons of high stack height, and maybe not enough just simple mother to low drop trail shoes that I love.
Yeah, wow.
Back to 50 years ago.
If I launch a trail running shoe brand, it's going to be that. But there are some that kind of fit that mold, like the normal Shrock, or and there's other ones in that vein. But
I just think one key question is how good it can reach. For example, we talked about the relation between performance for elites and fashion consuming for sports shoes. I think similar things happened before with basket. basket shoes with marathon. So like Nike or other brands, they did make better shoes, making even more profits with the public, with the fashion consumers. I think one key issue for trail running is the difficulty to evaluate its actual performance, because meanwhile we have a relatively objective standard for evaluating the performance for basket shoes and marathon shoes. For trail, it's quite different. It's quite difficult because you get a lot of different trails. So I don't know if if you're gonna be a unique standard to rate. It's number 1, number 2, number 3 shoes. This is a bit tricky, I think.
Yeah, I don't think that's. I would argue it's not needed. Like aside from maybe some people running really fast, at the very front of the biggest races, what is best? And this is honest. It's cliche, but honest. Like what is best is what works best for you. I've run the Hard Rock 100 in road racing flats, and I could run it in a pair of Hoka Speed Go. I mean, like anything works, and especially like again, if you're trying to run sub 4 minute or sub 4 minute kilometers at CCC, you're just an alien. But for everybody else, it's what fits your foot. What if you want more comfort, if you want more ground feel, if you're like if it's going to be a wet race and you want a shoe that lets water out, well, that's the best shoe for that day. I don't think you can do it with how long ground contact is or propulsive force or energy return. It's like some people love a bouncy midsole. I want a pretty firm midsole for trail running. It's not because it's better or worse or gives me more energy. That's what I feel comfortable moving over rough terrain.
But after the material and also technique improvement, it's more like coffee or chocolate things like SOE, like single origin things. You can tell. Yeah, the first smell is of the middle cushion, then middle, then.
Oh, you're just showing.
The end part, because with different carbon inside, whatever X or full bed, carbon, two density, two different density in the middle zone, and P bags. So you have really quite a lot of variety combination of those. So then when you try something on, when you try a normal, that one called yak, then you can tell, that's what Killian like.
But that's what Killian likes. That's No, but that's I prefer that style of shoe, but that's what he likes. That's a cool thing. Is it's.
Yeah, you might.
And that's a different shoe than what Francois likes.
Yeah, because it's like more narrow, and the cushion and the bounce is fit for long time, run, and also the outsole lasting for long time, whatever, even in the steep in Norway hills.
And he doesn't need big lumps because he has good technique. I mean, it's
so that's the best part. When I try something, I can feel okay. So what the designer or they try to present, especially the cushion feeling, like when you run different whatever terrain, muddy grass or rocky things, you can feel that. I mean, that's really cool.
The cool thing for me is that I don't think you can have one metric that makes things better, but I think across the board the quality of construction has gone up. The quality of materials, my only biggest complaint is why is the Brooks Cascadia not under 10 or 300 grams right now? Or maybe you could bring some of the weights down for because we have such great materials in construction across some of the more moderate, not performance shoes, but more broadly appealing shoes, reduce the weight of those. That's where I can see performance, the biggest performance gains for the biggest group of people, because I don't really know how much somebody running, myself including, running UTMB in 30 or 40 hours is going to get from a carbon-plated shoe. You're just
因为我们今天来的都是不一样的角色，对吧？就包括你可能是个 influencer， 然后他们是做网站媒体的，做了10几年的，然后还有也是通过可能 ins 上是最先起来的，像刚才 Outside 是一个传统的杂志，你觉得这几种作为应该都算是媒体的角色吧？你觉得这种几种媒体的角色之间是一个相互竞争的关系吗？
I think for the most part, there's different styles of media and there's different styles of consumer. watch video content. I mean, I watch some TV, but I'm not sitting down watching video
Short
reviews for the most time,
videos,
or video like short videos of trail running. That's not what interests me. I'm more into words and maybe pictures. But then some people are video first, and that's how they want to consume their content, or they want great cinematography of 10-minute movies about trail running. And then other people like podcasts. I don't listen to a lot of trail running podcasts, but I listen to a lot of podcasts. And so it's just like, it's because that's my work. I don't I want to go do something else. I'm gardening or running. But so I think that there's so many, the formats are very complementary. Even I remember 8 years ago, people say, why are you even showing up to UTMB anymore? There's a live stream. Well, they're two very different things, and they don't compete, they complement. Like, you can go for, you spend your day with your family and come back to iRunFar and catch up on what's happened in 10 hours and 20 minutes, and then watch the end of the live feed, or vice versa. Like, or you can be out on your run and do a quick check, so I think whatever the formats are, they really complement. And I think for the most part, there's not really a sense of like competition, or like people work together, whether that's collaborating. We've been collaborating on the Western States in Hard Rock, seeing what shoes different people are wearing, and they published the article in Spanish and we published it in English, and it was a great collaboration. And I think that happens. I see that at the finish line of races like UTMB. It's this incredibly crowded finish line, and photographers for the most part are like, oh yeah, you're sitting here, can I shoot up here, can I shoot, but it's simple as that. Or being in a trailhead, and like I'm where the guy with the gimbal following the runner, all right, where are you going to run until? I'm going to set up my shot so and it's kind of the feeling of trail running where people are more want each other to do well than to be competing and trying to just beat the other person.
So why you have these questions? So you face the competitors in China?
我之所以问这样的问题，是因为其实是跟 Bryon 有一点关系，因为我看到西部100直播的时候，他有直播，他有很强大的直播，可能连续30个小时的直播，但 Bryon 还是用他的图片和那个文字在Twitter 上去做直播。但是这个他刚才应该也是解释到了，他因为两个是完全不同的内容形态是不同，但是另外就像 UTMB 这种，因为来了上百家、几百家媒体，那大家肯定是会有一些相互上对内容的需求的同质化啊。然后同时呢，我们怎么这个资源该怎么去拿到，这个是否会有一些影响？当然，我觉得它一定程度上解释了我的问题啊。
In China, maybe a little bit different.
Yeah.
So some people want the same thing.
It's war.
It's war.
Really? It's a war.
And the other reason why he asked, because yesterday we go to the press office to get our badge. Yes, and they give us D. C and D, which means we cannot. D means you are watching
on the side.
Yeah. And C means like you can join in, but when the race start, you need to get out. So it's also very fast. How is your critical way to give who is A or B or C or D?
Well, I think A is just the race. And they put on the race. They collect their own media. Like that makes sense. That there's a different level. I don't know.
Yeah. I think Aran could be the A or B.
I think I'm a B. Many years, but I totally agree with Bryon about the media. It's not a competition. Actually, I think it's a small world. In the end, we're like the same people going to different races. It's not just the race, because I think, for example, iRunFar, they do their work, like they are the best at what they do. And honestly, for us as a media, we're trying to do it different, with a different kind of content, with video usually. And in the end, as Bryon said, I think the races obviously are gonna invest in their streaming and stuff like that. But I still think that there is a place like us doing another kind of content, because I think our audience is probably watching the streaming, probably, but in the same time they want to know his opinion, our opinion. Mm-hmm. We talk about what this guy is wearing, a prototype, blah 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 blah. Mm-hmm. So this is a different approach, and I think the streaming is good. Maybe you have it on your TV, but in the same time you're checking the Twitter and everything to see our comment about the race, because we are in the race usually. The streaming is in the end something that some people is doing the streaming here, and it's not in the race, right? So I think it's different, and I think from our opinion, we're doing something really focused on trail running gear and really concentrating about this. And this is something that when you talk about when you talk with Spanish runners and stuff like that, probably Trail Running Review is the place that we're checking the reviews about blah, blah, and there is another media checking about races, athletes, and this is something cool. And the last thing I'm gonna say, in the end, I think we actually learn about them, about the other medias, you know, and we're not trying to copy, we're trying to learn, to get some inspiration about them. And obviously they speak English, so there is another audience.
But I think, for years when I was editor-in-chief of iRunFar, I intentionally, to the most I could, not read other websites about trail running, because I never wanted to, either intentionally or unintentionally, be copying their ideas, but also their voice or their tone. Like, I just wanted what I create to be what I want to create. And I mean, as a separate point, I think, so like, even if there's a number of US media here doing pre-race interviews, some people try to make it more exciting, and I try to have what I've done with iRunFar be like calm and good questions, but it's not hype, it's not to be exciting, it's to share the information. And other people want 10-minute interviews, and other people want to listen to 90-minute interviews, and those are totally different or complementary. And there's so many people following trail running that you can do what you're comfortable and what you would want to consume, and there's going to be somebody also who wants to watch or read.
After
or see
the races, we go for a beer. So
together,
you
100%.
So you have nobody.
Maybe during the race.
During the race, sometimes. I still remember that one in Transgran Canal. But in the end, it's like, hey, we're 5 people here, so might as well to go after the race. You know, we've been working for 20 hours, so after the race, it's like, hey, let's grab some beers. You know?
Or if I see you in Austin in trail running the running event, like, I'm excited to see you. Like, it's been like, how's life been going? Yeah, it's like we're part of a family. Like,
and I think we got what we wanted. Like, the trail running grow enough, I would say, to live doing what we love. So in the end, I think we both feel lucky to be here.
That's true.
To make money and
from something we love.
Something that it's not my case, but Mark and David started in 2011. So they did that for fun. In the end, like, no money coming up. They do it afterward, blah blah blah. So now we're a team of 8 people. So more than lucky.
Tianhao, you are the writer, so is there another format for compare with iRunFar and trail review?
I think
so the situation could be the different.
I think from the international level, there's more cooperation than competition. But I believe that you ask this question mostly from a Chinese perspective. That's my curiosity for you guys. Do you think in the presence of Chinese media, both in terms of people, journalists, and in terms of attention or involvement, is extremely high in UTMB and in other major, like a bit less maybe in Western states, but there are still more than one Chinese media present in this kind of matches. Do you think this is extremely high? Are you feeling strange about it? Are you feeling, I don't know, what's your opinion about it?
It's great. I mean, you're serving 1.3 billion people. Like, not so many other trail runners, but I think it's wonderful. The more country, I mean, with UTMB live streaming, I don't know how many, if it's 6 or 8 different languages they'll do it in this week. Having media from all over the world here and serving. Yes, Chinese readers can access iRunFar via some translation program or what have you, but it's not the native format, and it's not as good than having true native Chinese media take care of it. It's awesome. And again, like, there's not competition, there's cooperation. Like Rui Sun, like China, like, we have worked together on different things. I'm gonna have coffee with him someday this week, and it's just like you get to know the media and cooperate and share contacts. Like, to get in touch with athletes, or to find a last minute translator when a Chinese runner we don't know gets on the podium, and you make it work and you work together. And actually really cool. It's one of the things I love about trail running as an athlete, is going to different countries and experiencing the culture, but in that, getting to interact with individuals from that culture and helping, working together, even if you can't. I remember being at Singunyang, and we're running down a hill at maybe 40 kilometers, and it's night on a snowy hill. All of the markings were covered with snow, and I'm yelling to a Chinese runner and a Japanese runner, and like we don't know any words, but you're yelling and pointing and like helping each other navigate down the hillside, and like that's so cool. And if you can do that, the same thing with, I mean, if I come to Barcelona, we might have a beer, like, or you might, if I need a connection with a runner or volunteers for a race, whatever, like you just work together, and that's
or even at the end of the races, like just making sure that they have their time to do the interview after the race with the runner. If I with some runner that it got to the podium and stuff, and Bryon is there, you want to interview them, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So that's some kind of balance that we do between medias, and
mutual respect.
Yeah.
I mean, as runners, as athletes, as people, or as a media. Yeah.
But the only thing that I see, this is something that I see usually in UTMB or the biggest races, it's you see a lot like who is coming from the trail running world since I don't know, many years ago, because we have this kind of balance, respect, you gotta, so I have to keep this position, I have some photographer here, so I know that I'm gonna be like this, and after that it's like, hey, you're done, okay, let's move, and then you see like people coming from probably different sports, different kind of worlds and stuff, they are like walking around and running,
and they can be professionals.
And I'm like, get out of my way. Hold on, man. Like, keep your position. Don't move. And sometimes it happens with our own team. Like when we get some people for the first time in some races, it's like, hey, you gotta be here. Sit down. Don't move, because the camera guy is here, and then And it's something that you gotta teach to the new people.
And you would be the first to like elbow him and be like, stop! Don't be that guy.
Well, we have one chance. Like it's one chance. Like the finish line is one chance, or even the aid station is one chance. You have one chance. That is, and so you gotta be really focused. You gotta be sure where you are. Everything. The camera is ready. Blah blah blah. Because many habits can go wrong in this kind of races. Yeah. So you want to be sure that what you can control, you
everything's
smooth.
There's no division between photographers, videographers, and a traditional media in this sector. I think in football, in basket, in athletics, there are a clear division between these two kinds of media. Mm-hmm. Here, there's no clear division, so everybody's together. Somebody, not professional videographers, they do strange moves that disrupt your work.
I'm not saying it's not professional. Probably, these guys. I'm not saying that, but.
I think you have the name in your mind already.
I'm being a bit
No, but it could be literally from a national, international level press agency. They're the photographer, and they're used to getting the shot because they have the access. But and so they maybe more they're gonna get their shot, and whereas we are we're gonna get our shot and let everybody else get it too.
Exactly. So.
They're not trying to, but they're just used to
that's the only thing. I think that is a cool balance in the finish line that everybody from the world is from our world, like trail running world, is like, okay, you're gonna see here, okay, blah 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 blah. Hey, I'm gonna go here, I don't move. Okay, that's it, And it's like the perfect balance. The people come and everybody is happy, blah, blah. Okay, that's it.
And if we're waiting between the third and the fourth woman, somebody's like, "Oh, okay, we have 25 minutes. I'm gonna go get some sandwiches. What do you want?" And you bring sandwiches back, or there's water.
Beer, but
shh. No, but we're trying to literally trying to help one another or make our days better.
我就有点难，但我觉得可能以后会好。
然后我也想补一个刚才 Aran 他的一个观点，就是问到这个传统媒体跟。
新媒体
正好就是传统媒体坐在前面的就是传统媒体跟新媒体两个代表。他我觉得比较诚实的去表达，就是他觉得他们自己是比较 lucky 的，因为团队从创始到现在也确实是可能做这个内容，对，挣到钱，对，至少8个人，但是会有一些可能也一直在做同样的内容，但可能他们的方向，对，就可能就是属于正经用爱发电这个词，可能大家都会理解，所以其实这个状况是会不太一样，但是他并没有觉得说传统媒体跟现在新媒体之间是一个可能我们认知里面是不是会有一些竞争，或者是一些debate 或者对吧，就直接对撞的这种关系，其实是没有的，因为他也有表达，在他开 开始决定做这个review 的这个台数，他其实也是会去看一些之前相关的一些媒体的报道或者同行业的这些内容。当然，这个跟 Bryon 的观点正好不一样，就是他为了
不被影响，
对，不被影响，不要影响他的观点，其实他是很少会去看的。我觉得正常来讲，就是他刚刚有讲嘛，这个 country world 就这么大，大家其实都是一起在 build 这件事情。
是。
不一样，对，
你想表达啥？
就内容可能都是一样的，就是那些，但是不同的是风格。这种风格可能一定程度上让竞争可能没有那么直接的原因。
我觉得没有饱和，
对啊，
特别是在国际层面上完全没有饱和。我觉得中国反倒是还蛮不能说饱和，但是我觉得竞争是比较激烈的，相对来说。
你也能感受到对吗？
对，我觉得是这样。
翻译给人家，还是自己说的吗？不是我说的。
We are discussing, we were translating your opinions, and we are also discussing a bit about this topic. So I think in China the competition is relatively fierce. Meanwhile, in the international level, I believe that you guys do hope there are going to be more media to join you, maybe to form more competitions in the future. Because I don't think now it's full. I think the media coverage for trail running is not abundant. There's much more to do. I think there's much more feature stories to do. So it's not like football. Football is competition is fierce. You get exclusive interviews. You get certain relation with stars. Islamic Yaman, for example, and you have the exclusivity. I think in trail it's not like that. So there's still much more to do. And rather than competition, I would say there's space to be filled rather than to fight for it.
Luckily it's not like football.
You prefer this kind of football?
But yeah, I mean, usually the athlete is pretty available for the media usually. I don't think that is an athlete that is just doing interviews for one media. But in Spain, we got a lot of media talking about trail running. It's something pretty special because we have like big media talking about trail running, different kind of perspective about trail running.
What about the coverage? Sorry for like for Marca and us, this kind of top tier, comprehensive sports media. What about their coverage for UTMB? This kind of matches.
Yeah, well, actually, Marca has a podcast, but they do it like a podcast and then a YouTube video as well with a program. So, yeah, I don't know if they are here actually, but they are probably gonna do something talking about the races, watching the streaming from their office or whatever. Yeah, but I mean, we have I would say, good medias in Spain, and most of them are coming to UTMB to do the coverage. Obviously, everybody's doing it their own thing and everything, but probably there is a space. But as Bryon said before, I think from outside trail running is growing like crazy. From inside, I would say the brands are trying to invest in this sport, but I don't see that trail running. I think that the brands probably and the organization and stuff, they want to make trail running look like crazy because it's a good sport to explain like nice storytelling, to link with with outside,
to link the trend,
to make content because it's beautiful to make content trail running. It's not the same doing road running. I don't know. It's not the same, right? But I don't know. We've been here many years, and I don't see like trail running is growing that fast. Probably it was growing faster in 2014, 15, 16, blah, blah, blah. So I don't know if it's probably there is a space for medias, influencers, whatever. And I know that I see every time more people getting into the sport and everything. But my feeling is this: I think the brands, organization, blah blah, they want to make this sport bigger. They are investing a lot of money in this sport, but I don't see it's growing that much in the runners. I don't see from our audience is growing like crazy like it was like 5-6 years ago.
Yeah,
that's my feeling.
It's still quite niche, no? I think.
Yeah. And it's interesting from trying to just look holistically at the sport as we get into this is first thinking from a media perspective. To some degree, there can be aspects that are less interesting. Like there's outside of like UTMB and Western States and maybe sometimes a few other races a year, the competition is actually dispersed, diluted. It's because, I mean, before, whether it was maybe a few years where it was some Skyrunning World Series, a few years where it was Ultra Trail World Tour, when the Ultra Trail World Tour was small, and you just had a fewer, and the same with the US, had a couple key races like Sonoma 50 mile, the North Face 50 mile in San Francisco, where you really knew the top competition was going to be at those competitions. Now with some of the tours breaking up or so many by UTMB races and just changing in the atmospheres in each country, you have one good elite going to this race, or there's a 100 mile, 100K, 50K at the same event, and you have one or two good people in each, so you don't have as much to talk about when it's just, well, that person's going to easily win that race, or UTMB at Mont Blanc is an exception, and Western States is an exception, and you have a few like the Trail World Championships in Canfranc this year are going to be very competitive in the long trail. At least I haven't seen the short trail, but it's interesting that there's almost been a spreading out of the top athletes. So it almost makes the storytelling over either less exciting in an individual race, or the story arc over a season. You can't really, like, these top runners weren't really going against each other except at maybe one or two races.
And it's funny because some years ago you could see like some runners doing well like during many years, like from Spain, Luis Alberto, Kilian, blah, blah. They were fighting in Zegama, in Salzburg, in many races, but 2-3 guys always the same fight, blah, blah, blah. It was fun. So and now you get so many good athletes. They have to push themselves to the limits. They do less racing now than years before, and you're watching the list of favorites in UTMB, and it's like, who's gonna be the winner? I don't know.
On the men's side,
the men's side.
No, but it's much more. It's so open. It's not because they're bad runners. There's so many of them, and they all have
runners that can win. And plus that, you get like Vincent Boyard. Like last year, it's like, who's this guy?
And it's not because there was no good runners in the race. Or
no. I mean, but sometimes you get that bunch of good athletes that they push themselves to the limits. So after Courmayeur, it's like, who's this guy?
There's one man left alive.
And from one point of view, it's like, it's cool to see this, right?
Yeah.
But in the other side, it's like, many years ago, you knew that I have to go to this race because Kilian is racing this race. So
and there's Iker and Miguel and Francois,
and this is the big race, right?
Yeah.
So and now it's like,
and there were a couple others like B level, a second level, but they were they were still competitive. 3 of the top 5 guys from UTMB would still be at those races. So you had again a story across the season or seasons that.
If I didn't make wrong, you were trying to talk about the relatively reduced mediatic value for certain minor races.
Not even minor, but there's just so many. I mean, I want to hear this from a Chinese perspective. Many years ago, you had mainland Chinese running like the Hong Kong 100K, what was Vibram then, now Anta. But now you also have, but just because there's a couple Hong Kong 100Ks, just to be clear, and then there was the North Face 100 in Beijing, and there was just a few key races that, like, as somebody in the United States, it was hard to get results. Like those were the races, and now I look through all the results when I'm writing previews of the Chinese athletes coming to UTMB, and there's 6 or 8 or 10 really important 100K to 100 mile races in China, and so like, is everybody racing all of them, or is the competition getting spread across all those races? So maybe in the past, the Beijing 100 was the most, clearly the most important race, and I'm like, that's just what it was at the time. But like, does the competition seem to be more spread out at the important races in China now, or do all of them feel very exciting from a media perspective?
There's also have separate grades. I think, as my opinion, like there's always like A grade, like maybe South and North. south, I think, from Zhejiang province, like we have Chaigutangsi, and also the other one called Ninghai, like it's already like 10 years histories, and also more sustainable and their culture. And sometimes we think like 95% of marathon are same, because in the city, you have like, those reputations, but like 99% of trail races are different, because whatever the terrain, the area, and also sometimes as the race director, you not present the city. Sometimes if you are race director of marathon, something you can't do because it's not publicly good or not, something like that. But for trail running races, some people can present. It's more like music. If like Chaigutangsi race, I think it's more like the pop, the rock music, just big scale, like noisy and everywhere. But Ninghai 100 is more like I don't know, it's like jazz, they try to cool down. Yeah, we're not so aggressive, but just let those guys, those are sponsored, athletes, but these are South. They have their own culture, like present the race director's character. And also like combination with the terrain and the area. And for North, like now we have Sanfu. There's 10,000 participants this year. So for my opinion, A grade, like as a scale, like supposed to be more than like 7,000 to 5,000 participants, like over that. Especially like these 2 years, like from 3,000 to 5,000 now. And also like depending on the history. So I think, something it's like growing and need time to grow, like the style of the race. The second grade is like some newcomers. I think the biggest challenge for by UTMB is mostly those races, new races. They can pay the money for the famous by UTMB because they can lower cost for advertisement, for promoting. So that means new races means much more risk, right? Because after 10 years of Chaigutangsi races in the whole area, they have trained more than 5,000 professional volunteers, like whatever the professional medical or fireman, how to service in this kind of race or some specialty weather happens in the upside. So what the guy doing, and also a part of trained with certificates of secure rescue skills. There's a lot of part of familiar with how we facing or we can do in different situation. We gotta getting down the faster way. So it's 10 years. It's the most powerful system in these 100 course area. So for new races, whatever how you sophisticated for the organized group, when you move to new places, new races, there's always much more risks, right? But these are all by UTMB now. So that's the biggest change. And also you have to balance the commercial things. That's what happened in China already, because Hoka might be print screen, some shirts to sell in their booths, like this race by UTMB, something. But the other sponsor not satisfied that, and then they just get rid of the booth before the race. So it happened. I think for normal participants, they won't understand that, right? But we all know, the organizer, they pay a lot to UTMB headquarters. But as the policy, the first level of Chamonix UTMB sponsors gonna have a free booth or whatever, here. But for them, like their revenue are from they're gonna find a new sponsor and also from different channel. So sometimes it's hard to balance, and they already pay a lot of cost for get the license. So these are at the B grade, I named them, because sometimes I think you need a history, especially the same race director group team, and also the scale, like 5,000 participants over that, and also like more than 5 years. That's A grade. I think there's 5 or 6, as my mind. But in the booming time, there's more than 100 like getting to the B grade. So they have like really big scale, because it's booming time. Everybody want to find a race to attend. And C grade is more like community and small scale, less than just 500 people to less than 1,000. So that's.
So like Mr. Lo said, actually the first BioUTMB series in China is 2018, and then now we have 6 BioUTMB series.
And it's changed. Like some of them that were the original ones aren't anymore. And it's changed. It's not like you had the same 2, and then there's those 2 plus 2 more. It's been changing over the years.
Yes. And also I think this is easier for our last question. I think is we're gonna talk about the UTMB. That's why we are here.
It is.
So, actually, I have extra experience when I was studying in Spain 2-3 years ago. I find a BlaBlaCar. So I'm lucky because the driver is also a trail runner. I use the BlaBlaCar come to here because I cannot buy the train or because the issue for the student visa. So we're just talking around road. So he complained the UTMB a lot, and I asked him like, why you be here? Because he said it's my last time. It's my last time because I really want to know. This is my last time to join, but this is my 5th time to join UTMB. So he said like I asked him like why you do like, and he said I'm very heat of the stone, the system of the stone, which means even I'm from Spain, I'm European, I need to go to different country, different city to get the stone, and then I can join the race. So I told him like, can you remember how difficulty for the non-European people? If we want to get the stone, we need to go to all around the world to collect the stone, and then we have the rights to
be in the lottery, but not necessarily an entry.
So we really want to know what is your opinion for the UTMB, and especially in your country. Do you think it's more largely positive or maybe not positive?
No, I mean
Aran, you should.
It's for UTMB Mont Blanc. Let's just call it that. It's been huge for the growth of trail running. Like it's unrecreatable, almost uncreatable, because Mont Blanc is an amazing mountain, and the race is a circuit of the mountain. There's something special about that, and it was one of the first big global trail races and globally competitive trail races, and it has its location, its history, and the inherent competition. So it's the race in the world of trail ultra marathons, and that's pretty incredible, and it does provide a stage for the best performances by the best runners who like mountainous trail ultra marathons. That's a subgroup of people, but it's the most important event, and it has grown, and the whole festival has grown, and there's local impacts. There's impacts like it's more expensive to be here as not to pay the race, but to just rent and be here and make you have to make your logistical arrangements before the lottery happened, and it's a challenge, and getting around the course and actually just reporting from the checkpoints. It's big, and but that's if you're going to cover the sport, if you're going to go cover the finals of the World Cup or whatever your preferred, if you're going to go to the Olympics, as a journalist, it's going to be expensive, it's going to be difficult, everyone's going to be there, and you're going to have to work harder to get the stories and the information. But they're there, and that's why you're there. I mean, as an athlete, like, I don't think things have changed a ton from that perspective in 10 years. I mean, it's essentially the same number of runners. I don't know how much it's gone up or down slightly over the years. I mean, you're going to be out there with 2,500 or so people, and you're going to be walking in a row for 50 kilometers or running in a row for 50 kilometers. And if you want to take part in an iconic event, that's the downside. Then you're going to be at sunrise in Courmayeur looking at the mountains, and you'll be like, this is why this is amazing. Or you're going to be the second evening and you're going to be looking at the mountains in this valley, and like, that's amazing. Like, there's iconic views, not even specific views, but like, it's a beautiful setting and a tremendous race and a big challenge. Like, it's not an easy race. I mean, there's a ton of climbing, and there's 178 kilometers or whatever it is this year. So it's a pinnacle event for people, and I understand why they would want to do that. I mean, I don't know that right now that's for me, but that's not a demonization or a negative against it. I like really small and really remote events. Like, I was talking with Michelle and Catherine Politi after Western States, and they're like, well, if you're going to come over and report on the race, well, I think you'd like TDS, and I might like TDS better because that's a little smaller and a little more wild. Like, and that's more just the style of more toward the style of what I want in my own running these days. But that's not. Some people want the excitement or the size, and it is a pinnacle challenge and a pinnacle experience. So there's something very drawing about that. I mean, I'll end on the UTMB Mont Blanc for right now if you want
to. Honestly, I really like your example about the BlaBlaCar, because it is easy to talk back about UTMB. You know, you get around and everybody's like UTMB, blah blah blah. Yeah, okay, but I think that's the price that you gotta pay if you are the big player, the biggest player as in this sport. Like, I mean, if I see UTMB, you know, as Bryon said, it's like kind of thank you UTMB. Like, you made this sport bigger. Everybody knows UTMB, and that's the best stage each year to come to see, and each year we have more days. We have to book before because we are even busier than the year before. So I think it's cool. But in the same that Bryon said, you can decide. Like, to me, probably it's not the race. I haven't raced this race because it's not the kind of race that I like. You know, it's too busy to me, but that's my choice. Like, I'm choosing to not be here. But if you see UTMB, you cannot say this is a bad race, this is a bad organization. You know, this is Formula One. Like, I mean,
it's more like trail running shoes now.
It's Monaco, like,
and you get to race against Mario Andretti. I don't know who the top F1 people are now, but you're the normal person, and you're racing,
you're racing
in the same races.
Best, you know. So I think UTMB helped the sport to grow to the place that we are right now, and with this, you know, probably, you know, trail running gear, more brands are excited to come in this world, blah blah blah. So yeah, that's my thoughts.
And so to go to buy UTMB, I mean, I don't think it's added anything to the US. I mean, to be perfectly honest, I don't understand it. I mean, they haven't created any new races that I know of. They bought a few of them, but they just created the Pacific Trails California, or whatever the exact name of that race is. But there's one, the Desert Rats race is less than 3 hours from where I lived. I never thought about running it before it got bought. I haven't thought, it's not that it's a bad race, it just doesn't, there's nothing that like drew me to it beforehand or since. Like, it doesn't, adding a name doesn't make it necessarily a better event or a worse event. It's just, it is a way to get stones. It's going to have more runners. The same with like Kodiak Ultra Marathon. Like, it's never been an important race in the U.S. and it is. I'm sure it's always been a well organized race, and people have had great experiences there. But it hasn't. Like, it's going to probably be more competitive. I think it's the North American Finals or whatever the exact title is next year. So it's going to be more competitive. But I mean, they haven't. They are adding a new race next year, but I don't think other than that they've added a race in the created a new race in the United States. So I mean, but the cool thing about it is and I've said this for a long time, is so you have a UTMB they have say 5 or 6 races next year in the US, or 5 or 6 events. And even if it was 10 or 20, if you want to do a small local race, you can still do them. There's people who want to do those races. There's that same atmosphere. I don't necessarily want music at the start line, maybe the finish line, whatever, you're hanging out for a while, but like I don't need to be hyped up at the start line. There's nothing wrong with that. Some people want that experience. Awesome, that's served. I can still go to the little race. And there's so many of them, and there's between some small race organizations or independent races, there's probably more of them than ever in the US. And I'm actually maybe a little sad to hear that maybe some of those have gone away in Spain, and like there's been some races that have gone away in the US, but just as many have been created. But maybe a little sad that's. Do you think like the UTMB races have decreased, like led to the active decrease, or was it just post-COVID, like the COVID challenge?
Yeah, I think both probably, like the COVID challenge, and then with UTMB, I have a couple of things to say. Like for example, Val by UTMB. It's a big race, it's a major actually in Europe. So it wasn't a race, even the first year of the race, it was like, do you think this is gonna work? Like nobody was there, the race was like kind of, but after the years, I have to say like the race grew like crazy. Like now it's like 6,000 people running there, 5-6 races. You get the atmosphere. The closest thing that I see here this week in Chamonix, and that's probably one of the good examples that I think they create a new race.
And is it a good race?
I mean, that's a good race, okay. Right? So it's a good race, good atmosphere, good landscape. The place is amazing. And then there is another example that they tried to do Transvolcania by UTMB, and it didn't work. Because the atmosphere changed. Probably the people from the island they didn't even want the organization there, and it was a race from their government doing the race, so it didn't work. And right now they came back to the same organization as before, and I was there this year. And it kind of felt like, hey, this is back, the atmosphere is back.
Don Hell was there at the media center, and you're
and the races, the people made the race there. But it is true that UTMB has something clear, and they have everything organized. The media with you gotta have internet to do this media coverage. And I was in Transvolcania this year. The hotel has no Wi-Fi or a shitty internet. Yeah, that's okay. Okay, but we're here to cover the race. Yeah, okay, but that kind of thing is cool from one side. Like they don't even care. They invite you if you want to come. You come.
Do you want some room, Coronel?
Yeah, but so in Spain, I would say by UTMB, I think they made great events. Mallorca by UTMB, I think it's a cool event, even though they had to fight a little bit with the races that they already had, and they actually put like the mythical race in Mallorca 3000 to UTMB. But then after this year they separate again, so it's not easy. But I think in Spain they are making like big races with the option to get stones and a lot of people from around the world. Val is I think 60% outside of Spain, so I think it's good for the region. But as Bryon said, if you want to go to a different race with this different kind of atmosphere, blah blah, you can go, no problem, and you still have the big experience like Salomon Ultra Pyreneo. No, it's not by UTMB. It's a great race, big race, nice landscape, nice organization from my point of view. So
and you could go to 50 or 100 different races and ultra races in Catalonia that aren't by UTMB or aren't Ultra Pyreneo, that are just
they are just a small group of people doing a nice race because they wanna give you the opportunity to know the region, the village, whatever. And to me, these are the best races to me.
For the matter, cheers.
But you have the chance. You have the chance to choose different races, and that's cool to see, I think.
And I know like in Italy is only one race is by UTMB.
No, there's I think there's two. There's Lavaredo and Chianti.
Chianti.
Yeah.
But Lavaredo doesn't even count because Lavaredo was like a huge.
Yeah,
and they haven't, from as long as I understand, they haven't like I've not been to it because it's Western States weekend every year.
Yeah.
Christina, move it. But I don't think they've ruined that. So they've created one entirely new race, Chianti, and it's become very competitive.
Yeah, actually, this year was one of the coolest race to see with the big guys.
And like other big races, like there's some by UTMBs that aren't competitive at all, but then like the Andorra Trail 100K the last few years has been really competitive.
Yeah.
And some years is Val but one of the distances. But
yeah.
I think it's the same situation in China because today we have 6 by UTMB series. Like Aran said, like I remember one of the name is Yunqiushan. I think the first year for this race is because of the by UTMB. Or maybe another race I forgot. But the new race, the first they do because they buy UTMB. So obviously I think is a good branch name for the new races to do the first race.
Yeah, the company organize 3 or 4 by UTMB, right?
Oh yeah. Yes. Chongqing.
Yeah.
So
that's why they give them like some prize like this year as the promoting by UTMB.
Another I think could be business commercial we work with the UTMB because they give the rights to the only one company in China and they have the rights to do the promotion or do the events around Asia or only in China. Because in Hong Kong we also know is another by UTMB race. But I think could be make me remember because we have a conversation with the Transcanaria, the Franco. Last time we asked him like why you joined the WTM because you don't want to be by UTMB or what reason? Because for me I think why the WTM is happened for 2 years ago because I exchanged with 5 race director for including the WTM. The same answer is like they want to keep their identity, keep it unique. They want to respect the nature and they also want to keep what is the core spirit of the races. I don't know, what do you think for this kind of new organization?
No, it's just a different organization. I mean, like, it's interesting because it's mostly the Ultra Trail, the original races from the Ultra Trail World Tour, not in a bad way. It's like they had a communal ideal and spirit. Like it was really cool races for the most part. All the ones I were really cool and like they had a good community literally between the race directors. Like you would come here to UTMB and like they'd have like a little an evening where they'd have some cocktails or whatever and have some hors d'oeuvres, but then I'd see them around town together like the rest of the week, or they'd go run each other's races and they'd just show up at the other person's races and like just in a good way, just like be there supporting their friends or volunteering or whatever it was. And a lot of races wanted to be independent and not part of the biggest system in the world. Like some of it's just anti-authority, like they don't want to necessarily be part of a bigger system or have another organization telling them what to do or how to change, or that you've got to have 8 shorter races and not 2 shorter races. And so I don't know that any real like ultra running tour will work in a competitive sense. Like there's only so many ultra runs you can like do really hard in a given year if you're at that top level and want to last more than a year or two. So it's just more of a different way to share information. Like it's just, so I don't know that it's be competitive or going to be, but
yeah, I think the idea, it kind of makes sense to me. Like, I mean, you are from, I don't know, in this tour, you have your own race in China, for example. You know your people, you know your runners, you know everything. So you make your race your own, and we're not gonna tell you how you make it, because you know the kind of people that you have running there. So that's a different kind of approach, because I think UTMB probably has a lot of things that you gotta do these races, this time,
some regulations.
And
none of the other races are perfectly well organized. It just might be slightly different than the protocol.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I think maybe we have like too many tours brands, UTMB, Golden Trail Series, Sky Running, blah blah blah. When I talk with friends outside of trail running, they are like, but you know, UTMB, but the UTMB is not the world championships, and the world championships are different than the Sky Running. So it's confusing. I don't think it helps to understand this sport as you know, football, for example. It's pretty easy, right? Or
90 minutes, put the ball in the goal. And
yeah, that's it. Formula One. Okay, it's Formula One. These are the riders or drivers, sorry, and then that's it. It's easy to understand. In trail running, who's the best? Oh, the best. But this guy is the world champion. Yeah, but it's the world champion from the, you know, Ultra Trail World Tour. But then this one wins in UTMB, but it's more famous than the other one. That it's, you know, it's kind of crazy. But you know, that to me just feels like it's a young sport already, and let's see the next years.
For the future.
But UTMB, they have been really smart to capitalize.
Yeah,
Capitalize.
I mean, you could see you could see what was coming when it went from Tour de Mont Blanc to the Trail de Mont Blanc to UTMB. Like that, it's no longer just that mountain.
Yeah,
it's a brand. It's a global brand.
Exactly.
I mean,
and
it's
that's something that probably Ironman helped to develop this kind of business. That they did really smart way. Like, I mean, everybody wants to be here running around Mont Blanc, and if you want to be here, okay, but you're gonna do this race and this race and this race.
You're going to do this race and this race
and then you're gonna be here. Yeah. Like, if you see like as a business point of view, it's perfect.
And even the top athletes have to do that.
Yeah, and some of the others, they don't even want to be here, but the brand who is paying them, you have to be in UTMB, so no chance. Like, you speak some athletes, hey, I'd rather be in another race, you know? You gotta be here. That's
Maybe they want to run Happy Bad last week.
Yeah. And even some athletes, they don't even fit in this kind of races and this kind of course, but they have to be here. And as a media, for example, we don't get that much help or no help from the organization, plus the accreditations and everything. And we can complain, and you know, every time every year is more expensive, blah 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 blah. But in the end, everybody's here to do their job. And
reality.
And that's the price you gotta pay to be here. And honestly, from Trail Running Review, we accept it. Like, it's the best show to be in. And I think probably one challenge is, and I know Bryon and iRunFar, they do the same thing. How can we do something really creative, really visible to the audience, to get help from the brands to be here? And that's the way that we've been doing since, I don't know, maybe 5-6 years. So thank you to the brands that help us to be here.
Yeah, anyway, like, if you want to know, like, you know, some whatever, like, new brands or new some races information, like in China, just let me know, like.
Oh, I'll be asking you about Gonga Glacier race after this is over. I just heard about that yesterday.
Maybe sometimes I can share, you know, more information and help you, like, get a connection with whatever, you know, Chinese brands or
Thank you.
know, like, if you want.
Yeah, likewise.
Whatever.
Thank you, because it's not always easy to get connected with the Chinese market. It's difficult.
Or even to find information. Like, literally yesterday, I was talking to another brand person, and they were telling me about the Gonga Glacier race. I think is in September, and I look on the internet. I can't find anything on the English internet about it, and I'm like, I can use Google pretty well, but
So I think this is the
tonight Kalis has you know, whatever.
But I'm saying, like, it's just, that's what I'm saying, like, that's people are telling me about it, like, and like, I can't find it. It's just it's hard.
I can
but
introduce you the race director.
Your butt's in front of the TV. No, but it speaks to the challenge and like we all work together. So like if you need connections to U.S. people or, I mean, I've always had.
Yeah, Kayla's kind. They coordinate with the other guy. They have a new company to organize a lot of races, like combination with their named box or specialty store all over in the shopping mall. So they have tried to build their own system, like people buy their stuff, maybe 90% just use as weekend walk, but they can join their clubs.
Yeah, they are clubs.
Yeah, sometimes I don't want broadcasting. Yeah. So that's why they also have biking races and also trail races, about like 50.
But here's an opportunity. Here's an opportunity for someone in China. There's a little bit on the ITRA or UTMB websites, but just if there is one or two really good race calendars in China to literally, whether it's just literally copy it, I mean like legally, but like have that person, but have somebody put an English facing, even if it's a couple races that you can highlight that might be a little bit easier for, I don't need English at the aid stations, but how do I find those? Because there's really cool races. I've been fortunate to do a few, but I'm sure there's another 15 races I would love to run in China, but I've never heard of because, or even if I've heard of, I can't find them on the internet.
As my experience, I think 四姑娘山 is better than Gonga. Gonga is, the mountain is beautiful, but the course around that sucks. You know that? Yes.
No, I know. I've not seen that before. I've seen photos of Gonga.
But don't worry, I can introduce you the company and also the race director
I
to
think
you.
probably.
They organize.
I need to translate to the live stream. I think this is the situation we really fully understand. What is especially the difference between China trail running or the other countries trail running. Why I say that? Because last year, Kailas do like Asia, more like the roundtable trail running discuss. They invite Korea and some from Japan, the journalist and also the race director. The point of these two mention is like if they want to search which race in China, they don't know how to search.
Hey, China, we want to come visit. I mean, like, I have a 10-year visa, but I need to get another one. But it's true. Like, I think, and, I mean, on a more political note, like, I think whether it's coming to Europe 15 years ago or whatever, like, people visiting other countries makes this world more connected, a smaller place, honestly, a better place. Like, there's some impact of travel, and I'm aware of that, but just like meeting people from other countries makes it feel like one world, which is
that's cool. Sometimes I think trade and travel the only two things cure the situation.
But athletics is part of that. Like, that's one of the reasons behind the Olympics was it didn't happen, but like a dream last year in Ultra Gobi, I would have loved to have crossed the line with whether it was in first place or 10th place with a Chinese runner, just to almost be symbolic, literally to be symbolic of we're together, we're people, we're runners. Like, this is cool.
Bryon 也给大家提了一个商业的这个思路哈，就是如果我们有类似这种赛事日历是吧，全中国的，你只需要翻译成英文就可以了。对他们来讲就是一个很简单很好用，要不然他们真的不知道有哪些比赛，也不知道，即便就像他说他有10年的 visa， 他想过来参加赛事也很难找到这个比赛。所以我觉得这个也是可能接下来我们更多需要去做的，也是比较容易的去做一件事情吧。
Yeah, no worry. I'm in several, race directors.
So, Aran, never been to China?
No, never.
Not yet.
Not yet.
You should. You should.
It's the Catalonia of the East.
Not yet.
I would love to go there because some of the brands that they have their factories there and everything.
You could go to Guangzhou and Shenzhen, but then also there's so many really those are the cities. But if you could go to a race in conjunction with one of those trips, that would be.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Bryon can give you a map, I think.
If you want, I can introduce you some, runners, show you the course around the course. Yeah, but mostly you can find out from Strava. There are still some users. Yeah, maybe not still. Yeah, a lot of users.
I follow folks in China on Strava.
Yeah, Strava. Yeah. So you can find biking and also trail running. Is really.
And one thing that I'm curious about is like as you guys said. I think in Europe, even in United States, you see some of the top brands. When you see Oka, probably is in the top brands in United States, as well as Europe and stuff. And when I talk to Chinese people, it's like, no. Like the brands, the 70% of the runners are with brands that are from China. Like you don't even know the brands. And I would like to go there and see like what's that brand, what's the shoe, blah blah blah.
To be honest, I want to look at some of the Anta stuff. Like this is like I figured Anta made its own shoes, but I know they own a bunch of other companies that make great shoes, but we would never hear of it.
No. We don't even recognize it. Like So it would be cool to see all this and probably the factories, because we usually get the shoe done to review the shoe, but then the process, it would be cool to see. This factory makes compounds for meat.
You should go to the Vibram research center. It's really cool. I've been there.
They have a research center.
It's really cool.
Guangzhou,
Yeah.
And you go to Shenzhen and see, I'm sure Phoenix is there, Shocks, Nightcore.
Shocks.
All in that area, but it's like it's cool. As two people who geek out on gear, like a Southern China. Hey, we're putting a call out. Let's put together a Southern China gear tour.
Gear factory.
No, but totally. Like that would be fascinating. Like it wouldn't necessarily focus. It could focus on a brand, but just like the way that all comes together. Like the fact that one of those shoe companies can go to Vibram, tweak the formula or the pattern of the outsole, or you're doing Vibram Light or Vibram Extreme or Elite. Sorry, but like Mega Grip Elite. So like, all right, how do we work together on this? Like
we're just talking about a brand making.
Now we're getting excited.
making kids shoes. Their advertisement is don't let your kid slipper. They use Vibram. And also the price for one pair of kids shoes is about like $200 US.
It's got kitty color.
If you're gonna have one kid, spoil them.
Mega grip.
That would be cool.
It's
Well, let's work on this. We can collaborate.
Sure.
We can find some brands, support that.
安踏冠军
I'm sure I can get a Nightcore say yes tomorrow. Vibram,
Do you have any other question to want to ask us? Because we.
No, but I'm glad you had. I was sending you in on WhatsApp. I know you were looking for an international roundtable, and the invitations on the email were for for journalists from outside of China. I'm like, I really want to make sure that China is in here too, because they are a big part of the global trail running and ultra running world, and like that's exciting, and to see and hear what that means for all of you is really cool.
Because for us, the more we very dedicated on the trail running, the more we feel like we really want to have like open mind, have more opportunity to exchange with all the journalists, the runners, community. Otherwise, we only focus on what we say. I think we cannot find how to do more for this community. Because for actually why we have this several questions, because we realize like something is happening in the China trail running community, trail running industry. But the point is all the point we think only more focus in China. Yeah, we need to say how it's happening in Europe, how it's happening in the United States. Could be different.
Yeah. Because it's hard for, like, as I was saying with the race calendar, like we know there's brands in China that we don't know. Like there must be the equivalent of like ISPO, or is there one in
ISPO? I think so. Yeah.
No, but like there has to be like some really cool trade show that just to see.
But very interesting for the ISPO is like for example this year. Normally ISPO in China, I think they have two rounds. One is for the winter. The one is for the summer.
You still have two?
Used to have two. So one
Because here
is
in Europe it
one.
got cancelled. One in the summertime.
So
the outdoor by ISPO got cancelled. So we just have ISPO in November.
November in Germany also.
Yeah. So to me the trade show thing it has a good conversation as well. But the way that ISPO is doing it, I think they gotta change it because in the beginning they were focusing on selling to the customers, and we've been in TRE since 2015. I think.
The running event in the US.
Yeah, the running event. That trade show is growing.
Yeah.
Each year.
It is.
And the mindset is different. They are focusing on
that's true.
to the retailers, to the So it's not like the biggest space, the biggest booth, whatever. No, it's about the retailers, the brand, the new stuff.
Community.
But the community of like the inside, like, because we see each other and get this to talk a little bit. But you see that with journalists, with people you used to work with, they were at this brand and now they're at this brand, and you get it's as much about the network, the connecting. Not networks has a bad connotation, but the connections between people in all the different ways.
And even the education of like they get one day, now it's 1 day to do some
events.
Some workshops, some talks.
Workshops, some talks, and you can find like social media or layout for the store or
to inventory, like everything. Yeah. So how to have a running club at your store.
Yeah,
that's I'm sure
some insights. I don't know. It's something kind of cool that you get 1 day to learn about the running industry in the United States. Even for us coming from Spain, it's like, hey, to see what's US doing, what's the different approach. And ISPO is not like that. ISPO is like the big show, the big booth, the big blah blah blah. But in the end, it's not about connecting people because it's too many people.
The running event
is busy.
90% of the booths are like the size of this table.
And it's cool. It's enough. You gotta present products. So it's not about the show. It's about the brand.
And a few companies have that.
They have to. They have to.
The most interesting thing is like this year in the summer expo in Shanghai, when you attend to the expo, the biggest we see the luxury decoration for the brand is all the local brand. So inside, only one or two could be like a international. I mean, like for example, before we also can see some outdoor or maybe camping brand from the global, but now it's all the local camping brand.
Cool.
So they don't do the camping anymore. They not only for the camping, for the equipment, they also have textile, backpack, poles.
Yeah.
So they totally changing to.
That was one of my favorite things at the old outdoor retailer was actually going to the materials section because you get like, the zips and the fabric and like what can a brand do here? Like you get to dream a little bit. But I'm gonna ask a question of all of you. And you can't name your own race. What is your favorite trail race in China? So, like, if you were to go run a race next year, what race would
this is the first question we want to ask all of you. If you
Why is Ninghai?
Okay, it's interesting because Fu Shaoxiang, I think, was telling me that I should
the
do
same.
Ninghai. Yeah. So, there's 2 votes.
That's good.
Yeah.
我也是宁海。
Yeah, they told me that the sensation for running is the best in
At
China.
which one?
Yeah.
At Ninghai?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Ninghai.
You have to say, even if it is Ninghai, you have to say something.
Yeah, maybe Taigu. Yeah, Taigu is quite cool too. These two are quite good.
Mine?
Yeah.
Hong Kong 100.
Okay.
Yeah, Hong Kong 100.
This is the
Well,
race.
if you go there, we'll be there next year. This coming
me
year.
too.
Oh,
I
we'll see.
have run my first 100 races.
Are you ready for the stairs?
No. If you ask me now, no.
No, so you
Ask
can
me
train for that even if you live in a big city. You just have to cross over the streets 100 times every day.
Yeah, I'll be vertical.
Yeah.
I would say Hong Kong 100.
Okay.
Because I tend to race as a different position. I be the volunteer and also do live stream and also do some not like a podcaster for the race.
Okay.
I'm more communicate with the Janet and also.
So you know Janet.
Yes, and also participate in the race, but a very short distance. So I think that is the race I prefer more.
It's a cool experience.
Yeah. Anyway, I think every year should go to China.
Sure. Yeah.
Probably in 2026 or very soon.
Maybe.
I'll arrange a tour.
So thank you for all of you, be our guest.
Gear and beer too.
It's very very big. Sincerely, thank you so much.
谢谢。
Be our guest. Because we waiting for this kind of round table. We prepared this I think 2 months, and we send almost 20 email to the journalists, the media. I really want to make this happen. So thank you so much.
Thank you
And
for
thank you for the brand to make this happen.
Thank you, Anta.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
谢谢。也感谢直播间里的大家们。Maybe we can say goodbye to our live stream.
Okay, bye.
See you then.
Thank you.